And we're live. Hey, hey, y'all. Hey. I have Ronald Davis here with me tonight, and we're going to be talking about Little League and why it matters in communities and what Little League does for our children, which is very important. I am your host, Annette. I am here at What's News for You. You can join us on any pop up podcast simply by reaching out and inboxing us that you have an interest. We'll talk about anything that doesn't get us kicked off the air. So, Ron, you want to introduce yourself? I've known Ron for a while.
Yeah. I'm Ron Davis, president of Western Little League. I've been the president for maybe 10 years. I've been involved with Western Little League since 92. What's that, 20-something, 28 years or so? It's been a long time. And I know you because you've been an avid supporter of Western Little League, sponsoring teams. You even sponsored the band to come out one year. We appreciate that.
So, that was really nice.
Right. That's who I am, Ron Davis, Western Little League.
And having the band come out, and the jazz band with Skip Wormley was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Yes, they were. You know, it's. I think with these little leagues, you have to offer a diversity of a better word, a variety of things.
Yes.
Not just for the players, but for the parents too. You have to entertain the parents. And you know, we live in a society now where everything is moving fast and it's attractive, and people get information quicker, and people want to come out and have a good time.
Okay. Trying to get back to you. Keep talking. Hey, Ron, can you hear me? You can hear me? I can't hear you. Okay. Unmute yourself. You're muted. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Hey, Ron, can you hear me? You can hear me? Ron? I can't hear you. Okay. Unmute yourself. You're muted. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Go back out. Go out. And we're going to come back in. I don't know. Hey, Ron, can you hear me? You can hear me? Ron? I can't hear you. Okay. Unmute yourself. You're muted. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Go back out. Go out. And we're going to come back in. I don't know. Hey, Ron, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. Are you there?
Yes.
There we go. Are you there?
Yes.
There we go. Ron?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Somehow you got muted, but we're just going to keep moving right along.
Okay.
And forgive us, but Ron was talking about, why he was involved, I think.
Mm-hmm. For 28 years, I've had some mentors along the way. When I first started Western Little League, there was rest in peace, Rob Alston, who was one of my mentors, who actually pushed me up to become the president of the Western Little League. Years after he had left the Little League, I had my mentor. I think the biggest mentor of all, Mr. Johnny Weeks, who was a former president prior to me. Johnny probably taught me more baseball than I learned in Little League myself, So, and we've just not too long ago, a couple of years ago, Johnny has since passed on, and we dedicated the clubhouse building in Johnny's name. So,
Okay.
Curtis Nelson, Dave Davis, Jim Coley, Charles Coley, Joe Medley, who's the field named after, Elkins Green. I mean, Charles Knox. I have some great individuals who's mentored me along the way, just and with Little League.
And so Little League is, and that's great. You mentioned some phenomenal people, and shout out to the Austins. My
Right.
girlfriend Gloria Austin, Bob's wife, and
Mm-hmm.
Renee Nelson,
Mm-hmm.
Curtis's wife. And there are
Right.
so many others that you mentioned who have family and friends that
Mm-hmm.
remember the work that they've done. And that's
Right.
important. The work that we do in the community is important because Little League is about sportsmanship.
Yes, it
It's
is.
about friendship on and off the field. It's about volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some of the folks who work with Latigue's Legends did a phenomenal job. And I want to just shout them out because, we were hoping to, bounce back in this year, but you have so many sponsors.
Yeah,
Uh,
we have a
it's an
lot.
election year.
Yes, it
I'll see
is.
you next year. It'll be a little bit different.
You know how that works.
It's an election year, and
Mm-hmm.
folks are really interested in sponsoring teams, and I'd hope to get Latigue's Legends back in there, and we
Mm-hmm.
will. But let's talk about sportsmanship because what you teach these babies on the field
Mm-hmm.
carries into life, and some of them are lifelong friends. That
I'll
friendship is important.
Yes, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I've met one of my friends I've had all for years. His name was Eddie Belmont. He's an older white guy. I'm an older black guy now, and he lives out west somewhere in Cali. I spoke to him. I was out in Vegas, and I called him one time. He
Wow.
lived out there. I met Eddie through Little League. You know what I
Wow.
mean? That
Yeah.
we've been friends for
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean? The friends I've met in Little League I've had for years, and the best thing about it is even just coaching. I've been out there 28 years, and I see
Mhm.
older kids come up to me. I don't remember their names because it's too many names to remember. I remember faces and voices, most important. And they'll be saying, "Hey, Coach Ron," and I'll look, and I'll be like, "I know this person," and then they'll tell me their name and who they played for, and then it'll all come back to me.
It comes
And
back.
so we have. I've seen kids who I coach who kids now play for the Little League, so that's a good thing.
It's incredible. It is
Mm-hmm.
incredible. And one of the parents who I think volunteers now, and I'm probably going to mess Miss Figueroa's name up, so help me out.
Hopper.
Dajanaba speaks very highly of Little League and,
Yes.
her memories of it. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to
And you
shout her out too.
you actually sponsored the team that her son played on.
Yeah, she said
Back
that.
in, I think it was '07. She posted that picture not too long ago of a picture, Larti's Legends, along with
Yeah,
her son. Yeah. With
yeah,
Joe, I
yeah,
think the coach was Joe Coyer. Shout out to Joe Coyer. Yeah.
yeah,
Shout.
yeah. Joe did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe
Mm-hmm.
for the work he did with Little League.
Mm-hmm.
It matters when parents and the community get involved. It really, really matters. So it's the sportsmanship, it's the friendship, but it's also the community because you
Right.
spoke about something I want to touch on just a little bit, and that was the jazz band being there that day
Mm-hmm.
and the people who showed up
Right.
and what we were able to do with Skip Wormley
Mm-hmm.
and his donation and some other folks in terms of feeding the folks there. It was just a phenomenal time in
Yes, it
donating some of that
was.
money back to Little League. So it's
Mhm.
about community too.
Right.
I've
Right.
met parents there. My grandbaby now
Mhm.
plays for Weston Little League.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. He plays for Weston Little League.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention his name because I don't have his parents' permission, and I
Okay.
really don't like to put my kids in the limelight, as you know, even
Oh,
when I
yeah.
was talking with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that privacy is really, really important. But
Important.
he plays for Little League and he's a little guy
Mm-hmm.
and he loves it. And the
Okay.
first time I was there for I think the opening or the first practice, the opening and the first practice.
Okay.
And we also did a voter registration there. And I want
Hmm.
to just say here, get a little shameless clip in for voter registration. Make sure you're registered to vote.
Yes.
Your voice
Yes.
is your vote. If you're not
Yes.
registered, it doesn't matter what you think
Yes.
because you don't have a
Yes.
voice.
You cannot run around complaining about anything that go on in this city if you haven't voted. You can't.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense. It's ludicrous. Yeah.
And this election coming up is going to be especially important
Hmm.
because the we're on the ballot in November.
Right. This is
It's
the
the first
first.
time.
Right.
It's the first time. And what's really important about that is you're going to see many lines with people who are running in partisan races. We're nonpartisan. And you're
Hmm.
going to see people running, and you'll see those lines, and you'll wonder where Trenton is. It is
Hmm.
where it's on the ballot. It's on the bottom right hand side. Just remember that in November.
Hmm.
The bottom right hand
Inside.
side is where Trenton will be. We won't be to the left. To the left, we'll be on the right, the
Okay.
bottom right. And please remember that, and please share it and encourage other people to look for Trenton and to vote. That
Definitely.
is
Definitely.
critical to our success. I also want to do a shameless plug here again to ask if you care about your community
Hmm.
and you're interested in what your community does. This is for our audience. Please make donations.
Yes.
Weston Little
Yes.
League accepts donations.
Let me say this about donating to these little leagues. These
Thank you.
little leagues are I don't want to say they're broke, but and I don't want to get into that part of it, but we scrape to keep these little leagues together, city. We scrape to keep them together. I mean, the city gives us a stipend. Shout out to the city, but these little leagues really need your support, and you have to
Absolutely.
understand these kids need uniforms. We pay for insurance, we pay for charters. We went a whole year without playing, but guess what we had to do? We had still had to pay our charter and insurance, because just like car insurance, if you don't pay it,
That's right.
it will stop. Let's just put it that way. So a lot in West End. I grew up in a household where my mom was a social worker for 35 years. Let me put that out there. And she had a master's. But she had four boys, and she scraped together to make us who we are. So in running West End Little League, we don't charge a lot for registration. We probably got the cheapest
We don't.
registration in the city. We
Yes.
$35 and $40. I think the next registration is somewhere 80, is 60 or 80 or up. We probably we're the biggest little league. I'll put that out there. But we make it work. I've always learned how to manage money. Managing money is very important, and we don't
Yes.
have much money at the little league to manage, but we manage to get by. And my prize in doing so and keeping our registration down and doing what we do is to see those little kids' faces at the end of the year when they receive a trophy. That's my prize, what I get out of it. So, donate to these little leagues. You don't have to donate to West End. You live in North Trenton, donate to North Trenton. You live in South Trenton, donate to 611. But go out here, donate money, donate time if that's what's needed out there.
Absolutely. Nothing warmed my heart more than when I saw my tiny little baby on that field
Mm-hmm.
squatting down as if he knew how to catch a ball. And it was his first time.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
just great because they absorb what they see.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that.
Yep.
Remember that. And so I'd like to work with you this year,
Okay.
between this year and next year, on a
Mm-hmm.
year-long fundraising campaign for
Okay. Okay.
Weston Little League. I think it'll make the difference. I'm going to be one of the first to donate.
Okay.
And, we'll work with everybody. It's not my campaign, it's Weston Little League's campaign.
Thank you
So
for that.
please, for those of you who are listening and will listen later because you're also on YouTube Live,
Okay.
please feel free to donate. What is the address people can donate to? Or is there a Cash App or Zelle that you
Well,
use for
we
those who
we
are listening?
We typically use our we it's the park, so we don't have a physical address inside Cowder Park. But if you like to mail a donation, you can mail that donation to Weston Little League in care of Ron Davis, 715 Pennington Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey, 08618, and make your check payable to Weston Baseball and Softball League.
You want to say that address again?
Okay, that address is Weston Little League, care of Ron Davis, 715 Pennington Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey, 08618. And any checks payable to Weston Baseball and Softball League.
Weston Baseball and Softball League.
That's our new official name. We've been with the Little League for years. We incorporated softball into our name, so we legally have changed our name to Weston Baseball and Softball League.
That's phenomenal.
Yep.
So I just want to shout you out, Ron. I want to thank you for taking the time to come on and talk about sportsmanship, friendship, and community involvement, because that's really how it works. And we're going to start this campaign. It's going to run for a year, and we're hoping that, we'll reach out to everybody everywhere. You are a 501(c)(3)?
Yes.
Which means it's tax deductible.
It's tax deductible.
So we're going to be looking for everybody.
Right. And what we actually do, once we receive your donation, our secretary will turn around and send you a letter with our EIN number on and the amount of donation so that you can file that with your taxes.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a tax break these days.
Right on. Yeah.
But to top the tax break is the ability to help the kids in our community. Yep. And so, Ron, I want to say thank you. We're not a long podcast. We got a little, our start was a little late because we had some technical difficulties. Where I am, my Wi-Fi is crap. And so that's a lot of it. I'm your host, Annette. This is Ron Davis from Weston Baseball and Softball League, formerly known as the W.E.L.L. Come on back to the W.E.L.L.
We're back to the W.E.L.L. I remember that campaign.
Yeah, Weston Little League. And so, again, we're going to be raising money. We want to say thank you for joining us. We want to thank every coach who's ever participated in the Little League in Trenton, anywhere.
Yes. Can I just add one thing about the kids? Do. I think I should add this. These Little Leagues are probably the first experience kids get for social development other than school. This is where the camaraderie begins. This is where they learn how to communicate with each other. This is how they learn to bond with each other. This is one of the places they learn to play with each other. Like we were mentioned earlier, that lifelong friends, this is where those relationships are built.
It helps build character, sportsmanship, friendship, and it brings the community together. And I honestly can't think of a greater way to do that. Right, where kids are involved. When you kneel down, when you reach down to help a kid, you change your life. And that's real. You do. And that's why I've mentored all my life. And I will mentor until I am not capable of doing it anymore.
Okay.
So I want to thank you again. I want to thank those who joined us and popped in and out. And there were a few of you. But people will look at this again on YouTube and Facebook. Ron Davis, thank you for the work that you do. It matters. Salute. And thanks for joining us tonight. We are here at What's News for You. If you are interested in coming on the podcast live to have any discussion, let's talk about it. We're here for you. So open mic, we heard you had something to say. Talk about those kids. Thanks, Ron. Have a great evening. And thank you very much for joining us this evening. We appreciate
thank you for having me.
And the work that you do. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good night.